Welcome once again to Great Minds Pro Tutors. You're welcome. It's still your favorite instructor, Samuel Cyril from Great Minds Pro Tutors. Today, our lesson is on data analysis with Excel. We're going to be starting introduction to data analysis with Excel. I I assume that you have not done data analytics before, or assume that you have not used Excel before. Even if you have, I don't want to assume that you're already a pro. So I want to start from the beginning in case there are updates you need to do on what you already know. So data analytics in Excel is our topic today, and at the end of this lesson, we'll be understanding Excel data type, what we call data types, and then understanding how to format worksheets. You also understand how to arrange data sets and format data set and properly filter data set. And then you also understand how to work with tables, convert data from ranges to tables, and all of that. So quickly, um, what is a data type? What is a data type? In IT, and of course in mathematics, data type refers to a domain. That is a type of values, a kind of value, or a category of value from which you can draw um, values for an object. A data type is the domain from which you store values for an object. Is that okay? So in Excel, we store data in different forms. In Excel, we store data in different forms, including text, number, date and time, and boolean and formula. So in this lesson, you will know when do you use text, when should you format your data as text, number, and all of those types. And all of those types. So you agree with me that you cannot actually format data correctly if you don't know the context of that data. So to store data correctly as a correct in the correct format, you should have a context of that particular data. So for instance, this data now, how do we know the type? In Excel, of course, we have ribbons, we have tabs. We have 7 tabs in Excel, but the more advanced you do things with Excel, the more advanced things you do with Excel, you can add more tabs by add-ins. Is that okay? So in the home tab, we have these various groups. We have the clipboard group. That's if you copy things, you want to paste things, different formats you can copy and paste things. The font group, where you set your font size, your font style, your format bold, make it italics, make underline values or underline text. For instance, you do this, you I have underlined it. You see the underline there. If I want to remove it, I click back there, or I do Ctrl Z to undo it. And then this is for bold. If I want to bold that particular text, you see it is bold. If I want to make it italics, I see it's now slant. So I've removed it still, and then I remove the bold again. Let me remove the italics. Now that is just that. Also you can add borders here and color text, font colors and all of those. This for font size and all of that. This for font size, this was font style. Alright. You come over here, you have the alignment group in the home tab. Here you do your various alignments and all of those. Do various alignments. For instance, if you want this value to be angular, if you want to keep it angular, that is angular. But that's not what I want to do now. I'm just showing you a few things. Perhaps it's your first time coming around Excel. Alright. You can also match some text across together. And then we also have the number group. This is actually what I want to show you now. The number group. The number group is where you set data type for your various data. For instance, this customer ID. You see this customer ID contain text and number. You see C there as an initial before the number. So for that, it means we can actually make the customer ID to be text. Please don't leave it in general. General is not a particular type. General is not a specific data type. There is no data type called general. Is that okay? So try to keep them in appropriate data type. This is to enable you perform certain operations that are compatible with those data types. Is that okay now? So let's make it text because it contains text and number. So we have formatted this as text now. What of product? Product is also a text, so let's make it a text. Let's make it a text. That's done. Then this is purchase date. You see this is date here. So what do we do? Let's set it as a date so that we can perform date operations on it. Should we make it long date? This is long date, how it looks like. Is that what we want? No. Let's make it a short date. This is how short date looks like. So it is now a date value. We have converted it to date. Is that okay now? Quantity and then unit price. Let's make the both of them. Then let's make quantity number. So our unit price will be currency. Quantity, we are making it number. Alright, do we need that decimal values? If you don't need that decimal, please look at where you reduce it. Reduce the decimal point there. Reduce it all. That's all gone. If you want to add it back, you use this, you use this, you use that, and all of that. But we don't want decimal point now, so we remove it all. So we formatted that. Also unit price. So let's make unit price currency since it's money. Let me use United States dollars, USD. Let me use USD for that. Alright, so we've made it money now, unit price. This is customer name again, and then this is you see what I do. You click on the first column, you click your control key to select multiple columns. I'm still holding control key. I've selected these 3 columns so I can format them all at once as text. Format them all at once as text, and then this review, this is supposed to be number. So we'll make this number, and then remove the indentation. That's very good. Now this is total price. Let's make it currency again, and then use United States dollars. Okay, so that is data type. We have seen date. Wherever you need to store date values, you use the date type. If it is text you need to store, you use the text type. If it is number you need to store, you use the number type. So that is that about data type. That is that about data type. We have seen all of these already. If you want to store numbers, you use those. We've seen all of these. So very quickly, let's look at what we call functions or formulas in Excel. This is also one of the basic things you should know in Excel. Now, in general, a formula or a function is an expression that is used to perform or carry out an expression. A function is defined or is known to be a pre-compiled code that you invoke to perform an operation to carry out a particular task. Alright, so in Excel we refer to formula the same as functions as an expression that is used to perform an operation. Now we have 2 types or 2 categories of formulas in Excel. We have what we call built-in formula. Built-in formula refer to those formula that are already available in Excel. Alright. We also have custom formula. Custom formula are those formulas that you, the user now, will write into Excel. There is no specific formula in Excel for those activities, for those operations, but then you know how to compute that operation. So when you write those formulas by yourself, what you have defined, what you have written is called a custom formula. Example of formulas examples of built-in formulas in Excel include the sum function. We use it to add numbers together. The len function, we use it to find the number of characters that is available in a string. The count function, we use it to find number of items or number of values that are numbers. We have the average function, we use it to find the average value of a set of numbers. You have the if function, we use it to perform logical operations. Min function, we use it to find the smallest value in a set of numbers. Also have the max function, we use it to find the largest value in a set of numbers. Alright, we'll use these examples in this lesson today. We have know that a custom formula is what you create, as we've said already. For instance, 3 plus 2, 3 is a custom formula. In Excel, we have a built-in formula called sum. But if you leave sum and do 3 plus 3, you are writing it, you are customizing what you're writing. 10 divided by 2, 16 times 45, all of those. For multiplication, we have a product function in Excel. But if you leave product to use multiplication by yourself, you are doing a custom operation. Now, in Excel, formulas start with equal sign. When you want to write a formula in Excel, you start with equal sign. As soon as you write the equal sign, Excel knows that you are writing a formula. So let's quickly look at how to write a formula in Excel. For instance, if I want to see the total, let me do some. If I want to see the total sales of just let me say few rows, look at what I've selected. This is selected. Alright, yeah, I clicked it. I clicked it. I pressed. How do I click it? I want to show you in case you have not used mouse before, or you are not doing Excel before. Use write the equal to start Excel formula. Write the sum function to that's to use the sum function in Excel. Then you click on this. Don't just click. When you click, you drag it down. That will allow you to select many rows. So I have selected about 8 or 9 rows or so in this data now. That's about 8 or 9 rows in this data. You close the bracket, you hit the enter key. That will give you sum. That means from what I selected from J2 to J10, that's about 8 rows or 9 rows rather. It shows that the sum of sales in that range of data is 21,420. You can also find the average. Remember, sum, we have used sum now to calculate total. Now I can also use this sum like this. If you have selected values you want, you can pick them one after the other. I have picked the first one, jumping by 2. I've picked the fourth one. I've picked this one too. Alright. You keep putting comma until you get to the last one you want to add. Alright. That is also how you can use sum. The sum function. You put their values and you separate them with comma. As a matter of fact, you can also write sum and supply the values inside the sum function. Alright. I'm adding these 3 numbers now: 59, 89, 56, 89 and 12. That's what I am adding currently now. So that will also give me a value. But we don't advise you to use functions like this. Alright. When you are using functions, make sure you are referencing cells like we did in the previous examples there. That is how to use the sum function to add set of values together. Next function that we saw in our example is, so the next function we saw in our example is the average function. Average function is used to calculate the arithmetic mean of a set of numbers. So if I want to find the average, remember how our average is calculated again? Total sum of numbers divided by the count, how many those numbers are. For example, if I have 1, 2, 3, right, I want to find the average of 1, 2, and 3. What do? I do 1 plus 2 plus 3. That will give me 6, and then I divide it by 3 numbers because the number I'm adding, I want to find the average. I divide it by 3. So 6 divided by 3 will give me 2. So average, let me put 1, 2, 3. That will give me 2. Is that okay? I same thing as saying sum as the formula now. 1, 2, 3 divided by 3. Is that okay? So that will give me 2 still. That is what the average is all about. Is that okay now? Okay. Please, if I'm too fast, let me know. So let us find the average of some set of sales values there. Remember, the name of the function is average, and it requires at least one number. You cannot find the average of nothing. You find the average of something, okay? So let us pick this, the way we also did for the sum. That is up to J10. Right? Find the average. That gives us 2,212.13. How can we confirm that? Remember, we saw this was the sum of those values. Yes, correct. This was the sum of those values divided by, from 2 to 10 is 9, right? Divided by 9. So that is, let me check. From this number now, divided by 2 to 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. Divided by 8. No. Hold on, let me verify what we what number? Okay, oh, this is up to 11, please, not 10. That's up to 11 rows. Let me remove it and put 0. Remember, the last one we did was up to 10 rows. So let us now do equals the last one we calculated divided by 9, because from 2 to 9 to 10 you have 9 values. Alright, you see we have it tallied. So sum of those numbers divided by the count of those numbers. If I want to do it all with formulas, I can still do sum of these divided by, now we have a count function. Even I want to show you later about count function. Count of this number up to row number 10. Up to row number 10. Is that okay? That's right. So that will still give me that very same result. That is about the average function. Alright, I can also find, I think I've done average of, I've imputed some values already. That's the average function. The very next function we saw is mean, M-I-N. I said MIN is used to find the smallest number in a set of numbers. MIN. The smallest number in this set of values, that is the mean. What is the answer there? The answer there should be 260. I think that's the smallest there. Correct, $260. Alright, the max function is immediately the opposite of mean. It will give us the largest number of that set of numbers we selected, and that should be 4950. Alright, 4950. Alright, we also have what number do we have there in the numerical form? We also have the count function. The count function, remember we have to start with equality sign. Count function, count. Alright, so those were a few examples I want to give you. But then since we are learning functions now, let us quickly have an overview of the kinds of functions we have in Excel. So in Excel we have, if you go to the formulas tab in the Excel, you will see in the function library, click on the formulas tab after page layout. When you click there, you will see function library group that will pop up. Look around there. These are the various kinds or groups of functions we have in Excel. We have the financial functions you can apply on finance, on currencies and all of that. These are all those functions. Your NP is there, your FV is there, your NPF is there, your PMT is there, that is payment, your IPMT is there, IRR is there. If you are convenient with or if you are conversant with finances, with finance values, or with financial formulas, those are all formulas that we apply on financial parameters. Is that okay? We have logical functions. Logical functions are functions you use when you want to perform logical operations, like the AND logic. AND logic is when you want to compare if two things are equal, or if two or more conditions are true, you use the AND. We have the if condition, or the if logic, when we want to check if a certain condition is satisfied, you can use the if. We also have the if error, where you want to handle error. Instead of Excel formula to throw error, you want to use if error to write a customized result. Or I use the if error. We also have the if NA. In case you write a formula in Excel and the answer is not a 5 value, the answer is not a number, you can use the if NA to handle that kind of scenario. So all of these are logical functions. In our subsequent tutorial anyway, we're going to take these functions group by group as you see them. We have text functions. Text functions are functions you apply on textual characters or text values, alright? On numbers, all of those things, or anything that's formatted as text. You apply the text functions on that, like a proper function. If you want to write things like a grammar sentence, the mid function, you want to extract some characters from a string, you apply all of those functions. Alright, we have the date and time function. Date and time function functions are applied on date and time values. You want to check the difference between two dates, you apply this function from here. You want to check number of days between interval, you check here. You want to check what's time now, you check and use these functions to check all of those things. We also have the lookup and reference functions. The VLOOKUP is here, HLOOKUP is here, index function is here, match lookup is here, match function, you see, offset, all of those, they are all here in case you have heard about them before. So you get them from here. So when we, as we, in our subsequent videos, when we learn lookup functions, you will see how we use this function. We also have the math and trigonometry function. Math and trigonometric function are functions you apply on numerical values, alright? On numerical values. You apply them. You can see sum is there. You can see sum. Let me show you sum now. You can sum function is there. Square root is there. Sine is there if you remember sine in secondary school. Sum is there and all other ones. Average. We also have the more functions group where you now have a generalized a general grouping of other functions. You have statistical functions where you find average and all of those. We have engineering functions. If you're an engineering person, if you're comfortable with engineering, you would have come across some of these things, some of these functions there. You also have the cube function and all of those. So these are the groups of functions or the categories of functions we have in Excel. I believe you have learned something about function, that if you want to write a function in Excel, one, you start with the quality sign. And then if you are using a built-in function, you write the name of the function correctly, like sum. When you write the name of the function correctly, the next thing you do, if that function requires parameters, is for you to supply the parameters. So 2 and 4 here are parameters. Alright, you put you click the enter key and you get your result. And then also, in case the function you are using does not require parameter, like this date and time function today, doesn't require any parameter. You just write the name of the function correctly and you hit enter. What does it give you? It will give you the current date and time in your computer. The current date and time in your computer. You see, current date is displayed there, 27th June 2026, meaning that now that I'm recording this lesson is 27th June 2026. Is that okay? So alright, so let's quickly look at arranging data in Excel. We have seen how to select the correct format data type for a given value or a column of values. Now we want to learn how to arrange data appropriately in Excel. Alright, so arranging data in Excel is what we are looking at next. What does this mean? Meaning, if you look at data, sometimes data may not be in any arranged form. So you need to arrange data to enable easy retrieval of values from that data. So for instance, if you look at this data now, it is not arranged at all. This customer ID, we don't know the first customer ID, we don't know the last. This phone product, it is not arranged. This is also purchase date, no sorting. This is quantity, no order. None of them is have an order, none of them is arranged. So that is why we need to arrange data. Arranging data, otherwise known as sorting data, means presenting data in such way that it is arranged in a particular order that can help easy retrieval of records or information. Take for instance dictionary. Dictionary is arranged alphabetical order starting from A to Z. So imagine if dictionary was not arranged or was not sorted, it could take you a day to find a word in the dictionary. See again another example, the Bible. The Bible is arranged according to books of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. Right? Also arranged again in sections like Old Testament and the New Testament. That's if you are a Christian. I believe also even if you are a Muslim, your Quran is also arranged. So when you arrange data, it is easy to retrieve information from that data. So that is what we want to learn now, and we say that is called sorting. Sorting is ordering or arranging data in either ascending order or descending order. Is that okay? So how do we arrange? First, you pick a column that you want to use to arrange. Alright, you pick a column that you want to use to arrange the data. What should we use? Should we use customer ID? Alright, let us pick customer ID here and use it for the arranging. So what do? First, you select the column you want to use to sort the data. Select the column you want to use to sort the data. What do I do here? I just clicked on letter A so that all the rows in this column will be highlighted. Then you go to the home tab. Go to the home tab. In the home tab, go to editing group, go to the editing group, you will see sort and filter there, sort and filter. Alright, you can see here we have sort A to Z, you have sort Z to A, you have custom sort as well. Sort A to Z means from descending to in ascending order from smallest to largest. From sort A to Z is descending order. Custom sort is in case you want to specify a particular sort order. But let us do ascending order A to Z. Alright. Okay, very good. So you are given these two options. Expand the selection. What this means is, for instance, we have C5 361. If you expand the selection, wherever this C5 go, these other values in the rows will follow it to that particular point. If you do continue with the current selection, it means it's only this column that will be arranged, but then this one will scatter. For instance, if we don't do expand selection, C5 361 may go down, while these other values that are associated with it will stay here, and that is not correct. Alright, because of course this is a cross tabular data, so these rows are associated with this, so we have to expand the selection. Click on expand selection. Alright, so it is sorted. Whatever we look for, that was C5. Let's find C5 361. I think that was what we saw. Let's see if we have it. Okay, C5 361. Look at it. The rows came down with it. C5 361 phone. This, all of those are all with it there. Is that okay now? Okay, so that is, we have sorted this data now using what? Using the customer ID. We have sorted the data using customer ID. We have sorted using customer ID. So this data is arranged. You can look for the customer, first customer. What is the first customer there? C1003. C1003. You can look for that. Look for C15. If you want to look for C15, you know you should look for it around here, around this point, C109090. Alright, you know you should look for it after C10. Alright, so it is easy to retrieve information. The next thing you talk about is selecting data or filtering data. Filtering data. That's the next thing we talk about now. Filtering data. How do you, what does that mean? To filter that, to select data means to filter where you want to bring out particular values that you're interested, or particular set portion of data that you are interested to see. Alright, you do the filter option there. Is that okay? You do filter, and that will give you those particular ones. So for instance, if you want to see only laptop products, we are filtering now. If you want to see only laptop product, what do? Select product again. You select product. Sorry, please, excuse me. You go to the same group where we did sorting. That is the editing group of the home tab. Also, we can also find that in the data group. If you come to data group, you have sort and filter group in the data tab. So you also see filter here. See that funnel icon. Pick it up. A filter has appeared. You come to the product you selected. Look at that funnel icon close to the name there. You pick it up. Alright. What do you say we want to see? I've forgotten what I wanted us to select. Let us select only let me say chairs and laptop only. What do? You click chair, you click laptop. So other values will be hidden, other products will be hidden, and of course the associated information. Only information about chairs and product laptop are we going to see now. Look at it. You click OK when you are done with that. Alright. So you see everything we are seeing now is only chair, laptop, chair, laptop, chair, laptop. That is how to filter data. That is how to filter data. Alright. If you want to remove the filter, you also click here now. You click, you have clear filter from the report. If you want to remove the filter, you click on the same filter item, and then you click on clear filter from product. Is that okay? Clear filter from product. But let us leave it because we needed that filter to stay. Is that okay? Alright, the next thing we quickly note is what uh, tables are in Excel and how to use Excel table. We already know that in Excel values are, or data are stored in form of a table, right, in a spreadsheet. But does that mean that they're automatically table? No. Even though Excel environment look like a table, the data in it are not automatically in tabular form, or they're not automatically in tables. For instance, this is not a table. This is just a range of data. Is that okay? So if you want to convert this data to table, what you do, you you select the data. You can do Control A to select all of it. When you do that, you go to data tab, you go to insert tab, and then you see table, you see table, so that will convert this data now to a table. It asks you, my table has headers. You click on it so that the first rows, customer ID, product, purchase date, and all of those information in the first row will be used as the headings of the columns. A table stores data in columns and rows. Alright, so click this. See, this is now a table. Have you seen the appearance? The appearance have changed. This is now a table. This table now have a name. If you click on this anywhere in this table, look at the design group, look at the design tab. If you come to properties group over here, look at here. This is the name of this table. You can decide to change it and call it sales. Alright, you change it and call it sales. That is what I am doing now. Calling it sales. Is that okay? Call it sales. Now you click OK. So this is now a table. It is easier to actually work with data when they are in tabular form than when they are in range format. For instance, if I write one formula now, if I write and say this is equals to this, you see it's now using the column reference and this. Is that okay? So that formula, that one function will apply to all of them. Whereas if I did not do like that, if it was not a table, I needed to drag it down, this times this. I will have to drag it down if I want to do something like that elsewhere. I will have to drag the formula down. Is that okay now? So that is one of the major difference between a table and a range of data. Okay, it allows you to write really simple and really fast formulas. So why do we use tables? Like I mentioned earlier, table help you to write structured referencing. That formula that I wrote with that table, such formula is called structured reference. It also enable automatic filters. If you look at this data, you see the filter is already there already. You don't need to go through the other process we went through before we could apply the filter. The filter is already there on the columns. Alright. So that is one of the advantage of having a table. Well, again, table also help us to expand automatically. Table can expand automatically. For instance, if I want to add a new column to this table, I can just click here. This was supposed to be, so of course you saw that was supposed to be totals. I can call this totals. Alright, I want to add a new column. I can simply say calculations, cows. Alright, so it's expanding automatically. That is one of the advantage of having tables. That's one of the advantage of having tables. Is that okay? Alright, so you've seen how to use tables and how to convert a table. Right click on the select the data range you have, press Ctrl T if you are using Windows, and then that will convert that data to a table. The next thing we see now is okay, that's the end of this lesson for today, please. We've seen how to write Excel functions, how to format data, how to arrange data, and how to convert data to a table. Thank you so much for joining this lesson today. Thank you so much for joining this lesson today. Please follow up on this channel. We are always releasing relevant lessons and complete lessons on the subject, on the topic. Alright, not half-cut lessons as we commonly see, that makes learning on YouTube frustrating. But on this channel, our topics, our lessons are always complete on any particular topic we are talking about. I cannot come and tell you I'll learn data analysis in 2 hours. No. While I am dropping my lessons on topic by topic, so that when you learn a particular topic, you know you have learned that topic. Alright? You know you have learned that topic. Is that okay now? You are welcome once again. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment on it so that people will see that you are learning something on this channel. That is, if you are learning something from this channel actually. Comment on the channel, and then see you in our next tutorial, still on Excel. We'll take up the next lesson from here. See you in that next lesson. Thank you.